All right, so we're going to look at adding and subtracting fractions now here. Now there are two types of fractions we're going to look at, or two types of scenarios. The first scenario, scenario one, is when our fractions have a common denominator. And if we remember, the denominator is the bottom number in a fraction. So when we see this, so boom, we're like, hey, we got fractions, we add or subtract them. They have the same or common denominator. All we do is we add or subtract, whatever the operation is asking you, the numerator. The numerator is the top number. Keep denominator the same. So do not add the denominators together. You keep the denominator. And then you simplify if necessary. All right, so that's if we have a common denominator. So let's look at an example of that. All right, so let's look at example 1. We have 5/11 plus 3/11. Well, they both have 11 in their denominator, so we know we have a common denominator. So we just add our numerators. 5 and 3 make 8. And then we keep our denominator the same, so it stays 11. We don't need to simplify because they're both not divisible by the same number other than 1. So we are done. All right, let's look at another example. Let's look at example 2. 6/13 minus 2/13. Well, here we have a common denominator. So then we subtract the numerators. So 6 minus 2 is 4. Keep our denominators, 13. They both are only divisible by 1. So we're done. Boom. All right, let's look at another example. Example 3. We have 3/10 plus 1/10. Same denominator, we keep them the same. 3 plus 1 is 4. Well, this time, if we look, 4 and 10 are both divisible by 2. So we're going to divide both of them by 2. That's how you simplify. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So actually, 3/10 plus 1/10 is actually 2/5. Okay. Yes, we saw as 4/10. That's where that third step comes in, simplifying. All right. And let's look at example 4. We have 7/12 minus 5/12. Same denominator, so our denominator stays the same. 7 minus 5 is 2. Well, if we look, 2 and 12 are also both divisible by 2. So we're going to divide them both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that's how we add or subtract fractions with a common denominator. Denominator stays the same. We just perform the operation of the numerator and then simplify if necessary.